Guys, welcome to the podcast. I know it's been a while. Haven't recorded one of these in about 6 weeks. Was obviously recording some podcast in you can call it the studio slash office for a while. Then COVID kind of hit. I did a few on Zoom and just didn't really feel like it was very efficient. And I was kind of waiting to go back to the office. But now look, we're back in lockdown again. So I said I'd keep active, keep consistent with it, and get another person on. So gonna try to schedule a few people over the next couple of weeks and just keep it to Zoom until the lockdown goes away. Today I have a very close friend of mine, Adam Walsh, who is a Smma owner. Adam's agency is quite different because he actually doesn't focus on paid advertising. It's mainly kind of content management, content creation, and he's doing it at a very large scale. Particularly over the last couple of months, he's scaled up hugely. So the kind of goal for this one is for me personally, I actually genuinely do want to have the conversation with him and figure out how he got to where he is today. But just to kind of get some value on kind of his sales tactics, how he scaled up. And another thing really interesting about Adam is he actually has quite a solid team in place. So he has VAs and salespeople and people to create the content for him. So going to dive into how he kind of got that set up. So Adam, I know I kind of gave a bit of an intro there, but if you want to just kind of give a bit of a background to where you started and kind of where you are now.
Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Of course, man.
And
Pleasure.
yeah, look, happy to dive into whatever you think is good to dive into,
Yes,
and we'll
sir.
just get into it. So, yeah, like you're saying, I mainly run an agency, so that's the main thing I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, it's mainly content creation, social media management, which is a bit different than most people. You know, most people go down the paid ads, Facebook ads, sales funnels, email marketing, that kind of route.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did a bit of that myself before I started the agency. So I did a bit of freelancing, just me, no team, nobody else involved.
Cool.
Had a couple of clients, so I kind of learned like the process of getting clients and delivering the service. But my biggest problem with that was I couldn't scale it, mainly because of time, right? Because I was doing everything.
Of course.
Found that very, very tough. Found it very hard to find someone like a contractor or a freelancer who could also build sales funnels and run the ads. So for me, that was a bit of a sticking point. Kind of led me then to look for something more scalable. Content was always something that I'd known how to create, right? Between Photoshop, video editing, and then just knowing what good content looks like. So that's kind of where that idea came from. And we realized, hey, this is very scalable, right? Because you can get a graphic designer, and as long as you have a kind of clear process in place, you can pretty much just plug them into what you're doing, right? Whereas with ads and funnels, I just found that a lot harder. You can still do it, right? But I just found that harder myself. So right now, yeah, it's a mainly content agency. Social media growth and management is the side part of it. Like you said, we do have a full team. So yeah, it's got VAs for doing outreach for us. Currently, I'm the only one doing sales, but we're going to be changing that very, very
Yes,
soon.
sir.
And then apart from that, we have client managers, so they manage the communications between a client that pays us and the designers and people on our team.
Cool.
And then, of course, we have the designers, the freelancers, and the contractors that essentially do the bulk of the heavy work. So that's the main look at the team. I don't have an exact number of how many people we have right now because it changes week to week.
Amazing, yeah.
Probably somewhere in and around 15 people, not all full-time,
Wow.
but some part-time doing a couple hours a day,
Yep.
and then some actually being full-time. So that's kind of the split. Obviously on the side then I'm building a bit of a personal brand as well myself,
Of course, yeah.
helping other people start off with freelancing and Smma. So that's kind of what I've started. I started that kind of with TikTok back, I think it was March 2020, so
Yeah,
last
I remember,
year. And I've been putting a lot of focus into that as well. So those are the two main things I do. I did a ton of stuff before this as well, before freelancing, which obviously we can hop into if you think it has value, man.
Definitely, yeah. So just in terms of the agency, are you the only co-founder or is there another co-founder or was it all you?
Yeah, so I've got David, who is my co-founder.
Cool.
Basically, we both kind of came together because we were both freelancing. Okay, so while I was just doing the kind of Facebook ads, sales funnels, that kind of thing, he was doing a bit of content creation, and he was also building up his own Instagram page. So he has over 100K followers. So that helped us out a lot,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
that means when we've got kind of a case study from the get-go of how to create good content, manage a page, and grow a presence. So that definitely helped us. David does more, I would say, of like the strategy with our clients,
Cool.
right? Because he has more direct experience with Instagram than myself. I have had more experience like that with the ad side of things, and also with building pages on Twitter. Like I built a load of meme pages back in the day.
Wow, really
but Instagram was never something that I built up massively myself. I always wanted to, but David is more of the strategy there. So he does most of that side. He manages a bit more of the team, right, and delivering the service to our clients. And then mine is more outreach, managing the VAs we have, and doing the sales side of the business.
Amazing, man. Yeah. And what age are you?
23. So
Sick. I like
David is, I believe David's 30 now.
Okay,
so,
cool, interesting. Okay, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah, a bit of a difference. We both did commerce in UCD,
Cool.
but we didn't know each other. We just randomly met on Instagram. So we were both kind of posting health and fitness content. We're both Irish, and we just connected from there.
Sweet, man. Yeah, I love it. So one of the most interesting parts about anybody who kind of sets up their own business is how it all started. Now, obviously, the majority of people that kind of got into this space would have been exposed to like the likes of Ty Lopez and the likes in like 2017, 2018. So if you could paint a picture, what age were you when you started freelancing?
When I started freelancing, it's very hard to put a figure on it. I can tell you when I started the whole internet stuff,
Okay,
and
cool,
that was in third year in school.
Okay, cool, interesting. Yep.
So launched my first meme page on Twitter.
Sweet.
It was just purely funny pictures and videos. You've all seen them on Instagram. And I basically just went hell for leather on that. Just posted content every single day. Did follow and follow, built up a page to like, I think it was maybe 10k followers in the first year.
Sick.
Which wasn't a great return considering I spent like 4 hours a day on the page, like so many hours, made no money from it. But then I realized once I got to 10k that I could sell shoutouts. So once you can sell shoutouts, you can start making $10, $20 here and there. So, maybe making $30 or maybe 30 quid a week. I was like, Jesus Christ, I've got to figure it out. I'm balling. This is class. What I did then was kind of like took that money, reinvested it straight back and bought other Twitter pages.
Okay, cool.
Basically got to a stage then where I think I was in fifth year in school. I had about 3 million followers on Twitter and all I was doing was selling shoutouts. So big audience, just sell shoutouts, easy business model. Paid someone to run the pages for me. Super, super easy. Then from there, basically I realized, Leighton, that everybody who was paying me for shoutouts was dropshipping. So then I was like, well, it seems easy to start. May as well do it myself. Started dropshipping, was kind of hit or miss. I had like 2 or 3 stores. Some did well, some completely flopped. Again, the big part there was that like it was free traffic. I wasn't paying for ads. I just had pages, so I didn't have to pay anything for that. Then let me see, from there we went and I did like a private label e-commerce brand. So that was quite good. That was my main focus for quite a while. And that's when I got to see like the bigger marketing world. Because up till now, it had just been these Twitter pages. And they're just in this own little ecosystem of, I've no idea about ads. I've no idea about email marketing, none of that stuff. Whereas then having the brand, obviously, you get exposed to that a bit more. So did the email marketing, did the Facebook ads, nothing crazy, just the odd bit of retargeting. And worked with a few Instagram influencers, so got to kind of see that scene as well. Then I kind of had, I'd say, like a bit of a hiatus for a while I was in college. I was still doing, like little bits and pieces, but there was no big focus. Just a little bit of spare change kind of thing. And then that's when I got back into freelancing, or started freelancing essentially. I think it was maybe probably coming in on my second year of college. So mine was a 3-year degree. So I was able to finish it then that year later. So I did a freelancing probably roughly a year. Was grand. Again, main thing was I couldn't scale and I wanted it to be something bigger than it was. And that's when kind of the agency kicked off. Got our first client in November 2019. So it took us a while to get that first client. But once we did, we scaled pretty fast and we got to a 6-figure run rate in about 45 days after we got the first client.
Nice.
So it was like super slow, nothing happening, and then you hit that one client and it's like, oh shit, this works, I know what to do. I just got to repeat this process. And that's exactly what we did.
Well, that's amazing, man. Similar story for myself, actually. I actually started off dropshipping as well, and it was the exact I didn't have any Twitter pages, but I used to pay, like I used to sell like these African necklaces, and I used to pay like African Instagram pages to promote it, and you'd see sales come in off the back of it. I don't know if that strategy works as much anymore in 2021, but I know back then it was huge, like because nobody was really kind of collaborating with these big pages, and anytime they put something up, you'd see sales come in off the back of it. So that's amazing, man. So then you shifted, and how successful were you with your own dropshipping?
It was grand. Like, I'd say the first store completely flopped.
Okay.
It was jewelry. Thought it was going to be the thing, man. I
think everybody tried jewelry at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everybody's
yeah,
done jewelry,
yeah.
swimwear, and then
Swimwear,
eventually I
okay.
got onto like bracelets,
Yeah,
which is probably similar to yourself with the beads.
yeah,
Uh, so the dropshipping was kind of hit or miss, but to me it was more like it proved that like you can actually make money
cool.
with the product side of things. I'd say like the brand then did decently well, and that was kind of like the full time focus for a good while.
Yeah,
But again, I still had like no idea what I was doing. You
yeah,
know what I mean? So scaling it to like a proper brand was just like something I didn't really know. Obviously, I'd like consume podcasts, I'd
mm-hmm.
look at YouTube videos of people like with big brands, but I think because I was in college as well, like I was just juggling. I was juggling. So like I wasn't all in on it. I was
Okay,
trying to do 50-50. I knew I never wanted to even use my degree, but I
okay,
also
that's
still wanted
hilarious. Okay,
good
cool.
grades.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't like the person who just said, fuck this, I'm dropping out, or like I just don't want to do it.
Right,
I was like, I still want to do it just to have it, but I
right,
know I'm not going to use it.
yeah,
So that kind of put the business side just on a bit of a back burner for a
yeah,
while, which looking back, obviously I'd be like, oh, should have went all in, should have dropped out,
yeah,
whole thing, but you live and you learn,
yeah.
met
Okay,
good people in college as well, so can't really complain.
yeah. That's the main. That's kind of the main thing. I dropped out of Maynooth after a year, but
Mm,
I think the main thing that everybody take, and I was even Thomas too. Like Thomas says the same thing. Like the most valuable thing out of college is definitely the people you meet. Like
100%, man,
yeah,
100%. You mightn't realize it in the moment, because you just think, how we're friends with these people, but once you actually start doing stuff, and you start maybe building a business, other people also start building businesses as well, you'll believe
yeah,
it or not,
yeah.
and all of a sudden these collaborations and connections just kick in like.
No, I've seen it before as well with people in my network. Like even if they don't set up a business, even as employees, um, they get into PR opportunities or marketing opportunities, and another person is working for another company, and they're like, "Oh, hey, I have this opportunity.
Yeah.
Would you and your company like to maybe send over a proposal?" And yeah, so you never like people who are doing those degrees. Like you never know where they're going to be in 10 years. They could be executives of huge companies, marketing directors for huge companies, and some huge opportunities could come off the back of it for you. So yeah, I definitely think with college, it's much more valuable about the people you meet rather than the actual stuff you learn.
Yeah, definitely. Like that was my exact experience too.
Yeah.
Like, I did business, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
think, hey, like that's going to benefit you massively. You run a
Mm-hmm.
business now. You
Yeah.
learned it all in college. It's like, no, it's none of it really, to be honest. We learned about HR, and I've never applied any of those principles to
I
hire
know.
people.
Yeah.
We learned about business management, which like what even is business management? Managing a business. You just
Yeah.
learn that from doing it,
Yeah. 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 Of course.
So
Yeah.
like I think it's great for the theory, and if you wanna go into academics, perfect. College is the way to go. But
Yeah.
like if you are just trying to build a business, use it for the connections, learn as much as you can and just take it from there really.
That's it. What was gonna so in terms of the kind of mindset shift, right? Because I mean, 4 months to get to six figures is unbelievable. To be fair, what was the mindset shift, or was it simply just that you saw it work and you were just like, right, I'm going on. Let's do this again. Let's just keep on repeating it. Or did you have any mental roadblocks where maybe you hit 5K a month and you're like, wow, I'm making 5K a month. I mean, there's no need to kind of scale it up. And how did you, if you did cross that road, how did you say no? I need to keep on pushing.
That's a good one, man. That's a good one. I think, to be honest, one, it came down to like just personally,
Okay.
I'd want to keep it going.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way I'd be. I'd see that milestone come in, and I'd say, hey, what's the next one? That's just kind of the way I'd be going. Now, I would say as well, having a business partner really helps with that, because when you get to 5K, first off, it's not 5K in your bank account, so it's actually less, right? But secondly, is that when you're actually talking about it, it's more rational now, because it's not just I'm happy with 5K. It's we just built the business to 5K. What if we went and built it to 50K? Imagine what that would look like. And because you have two people, what I found, like that's been a real big thing, because you have someone to bounce everything off of. For example, if you need to hire someone, you can talk to that person about it. If you need to fire someone, you talk to that someone about it. So I would say the business partner definitely helped me with that. I don't think there was any major mindset shift. It was just mainly I knew the scale that it could go to. I knew you could build an agency to multi six figures. You could build it to seven figures, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, why not? It's just about finding that first way of making it work, and then just repeating that process. And I just said, hey, let's make it happen.
Yeah, no, that's fair play to you for having that mindset, because I know a lot of people, like including me, I was like, how the hell are these people making even 1,000? Because I was working up in Tassie and like
Yeah.
behind the bowl, that's like, how are these people making an extra grand a month doing this, just
Mm-hmm,
approaching
mm-hmm.
people and offering services? And I actually just I couldn't even wrap my head around it, and it took me a while, a long time to kind of just building up case studies and interacting with people to really kind of realize like and now I just jump on calls whenever and I'll talk to whoever about anything and I'll share my ideas, no problem. And yeah, it's kind of interesting looking back to see what you feel like your limiting beliefs were back then, and then just how far you can come.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's interesting to see that you just kind of had the proof of concept and you just ran with it. At what point, so you and David hit six figures, at what point did you start implementing your VAs? And because I mean, a lot of people, especially in the SMMA, I have so many friends that are in the space, you know, they see the cash in and they have the time there, and they just say, right, let me just keep all the profits myself. I can just do all the work. There's no need. So what was that shift from just doing it yourself to hiring people? Was there a certain time issue, or was it just a kind of, right, I have enough money here to kind of take somebody on, or was it you wanted to scale a bit quicker? When was it that you kind of introduced more people?
That's a good one, man. I would say we had people from the get-go because it
Did
was
you? Okay,
content. So I think for the first client, we kind of winged it and did most of it ourselves.
That's so funny.
Because like we still produce good content because we knew what we were doing, and we still have that client. So obviously something went well with them, you know.
Yeah.
But I think pretty much straight after that, then we were like, right, graphic designer.
Oh, okay.
We're not signing up to be graphic designers here. We're signing up to build it as a business.
Yeah.
So that was the first one. I would say we had 2 graphic designers pretty quickly on. In terms of VAs, I would say because I was handling most of the outreach, I think I got to a stage probably somewhere around February.
Okay.
So what's that, about maybe 4 months after getting the first client, where I was like, you know what, 1, we're getting busier, and 2, I think I'm just sending the same messages over and over again. Like I have a kind of script in my head here that I'm sending to people. So I can probably just put this in a document, hire someone for $3 an hour, ship it off to them, still get the same results, but now I can also do outreach as well. So that's kind of what we first did. Was I did maybe 2 hours, they did 2 hours, and we got more clients straight away. From there, then I think there was no major mindset shift with that, Leighton, because it was like a VA. It's not a huge investment. You're talking maybe $200-$300 a month.
Wow.
So it's not like you're eating massively into your profits, right? It's just a small little bit. When it came to client manager, that was the biggest switch, because that was, we're going to go from us talking to the clients every day and talking to the designers to just talking to our client manager who talks to the designers and the clients. So that was a big one.
Yeah.
We still do talk to clients, but like I'll talk to them maybe once every 3 months.
Wow.
My business partner will probably talk to them once a month on a quick kind of catch-up call, but it's very much we have it now so that the client managers can handle it. That was the big switch, right? Because first off, you're leaving control. You're leaving all of that to someone that you don't know, because we just hired a random person that we found. It wasn't a mutual connection or anything. And then the second thing is you got to pay for that person. And because it's a client manager, you're probably not going to hire someone in the Philippines or in Asia. You're probably going to hire an English speaker, someone who's a native English speaker and can speak to your clients, because most of our clients are in the UK, the US, and that's kind of what they would expect. They would expect someone to be an English speaker and all of that. So like that was definitely a big mindset shift. But again, having the business partner there to like logically run that through of like, we can fork out, let's say it's $1,000 to get someone in and be a client manager, or we can keep doing it ourselves, but we're going to be working all day and we're not going to have time to scale. So it was an easy decision for us. We knew the time would come. And again, I think having a partner there like pushes you in those scenarios, because you can logically look at it and you look at it less emotionally. It's less emotionally charged of, oh no, I'm going to lose 1K. It's, no, we're going to put that 1K in and we're going to make 5K back, because we're going to have more time to do more sales and get more clients and all that. So that was quite a big one, I would say. And then obviously, like, man, that decision was the best thing ever. Like, I remember literally within 2 weeks, it was the first, obviously, client manager, and she was amazing. Okay. She stayed with us for about, I think it was about 8 months, and then she got a job offer at the UN, so she kind of had to take that. It was like, all right, we can't really compete with the UN.
Yeah, of course.
But like that was such a big shift.
Yeah.
Like it literally went from, I don't really have to check Slack too much or look at clients unless I want to. And that was huge because it just meant time to scale, time to build a business, and then time to look for a second client manager to keep things going.
Sick. I love it. Yeah, you seem like a very like getting them systems in place and being that efficient. I find that a lot of people would agree that it is actually quite difficult, even though it is the most strategic approach. Like, it makes perfect sense to like hit a certain milestone and say, right, let's take some of this cash and give this responsibility to somebody else so we can focus on other things.
Yeah.
But it seems like you just pull the trigger and you just say, right, that decision needs to be made, and you get someone in to do the job. So yeah, fair play. Doesn't seem like you have many mindset.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think it's kind of it's a tough one. It's hard to say like what makes you do that. I think whatever you bit with the agency, I was always very like systems orientated.
Yeah.
So like I always wanted it to be a system because I know from when I was like doing stuff myself with even freelancing or running a brand or dropshipping store, I knew when there wasn't systems that it was just chaos.
Yeah.
Like it was just pure. I didn't know where the next payment was coming from. If there was an issue, I didn't know how to resolve it. There was no process in place.
Yeah.
So to be honest, like I just kind of grafted onto that idea of like systems is the way to go. And if we don't build systems, we're just going to be relying on our muscle memory. And like, when you've got 80 clients, you can't rely on muscle memory or what you think is the right thing to do. You've got to rely on, we've got a clear process and system in place. And that's exactly how it has to be done. So it's a hard one, I'd say, to put into words of like how you foster that mindset. But I think it's just like looking into systems and looking at everything as a system is it's definitely a valuable use of your time, because you can make way more money when you systematize things. Third time lucky. Whereas if you try and do it all just manually by yourself forever, it's always very hard, in my opinion.
Yeah. No, makes perfect sense, man. Just kind of because we're kind of hovering over the whole idea of efficiency, what way do you kind of split up your day? Is it kind of like work block for 3 hours, lunch, work block for 3 hours, break, or how late into the evening do you work? Are you strict with your routine? What does your day to day kind of look like?
Yeah, it's a good one, man. I do like routine. I'm definitely a big routine.
Okay.
So, roughly the same time each day, I would say. Roughly 7:30, 8. I'm not a 6 a.m. riser. I'm not a 5 a.m. riser either. I'm more of get my 8 hours, maybe 9 hours, and wake up naturally, not to an alarm, and just kick the day off there.
Wow.
In terms of work, I would say I start work probably like 45 minutes after waking up.
Okay.
So one routine is just, go for a quick walk, journal, maybe read a bit of a book, no technology, no phone, and meditate and things like that. Just kind of get the mind prepared and ready for the day.
Nice.
Kick into work. When I start, I try and look at like the big stuff first. Okay, so I won't open Slack straight away or like my email straight away. What I'll try and look at first is the stuff that takes a lot of mental energy, right? So let's say, for example, when I was first building out the outreach system, that's what I was doing first thing in the day was, okay, I've got to document scripts. I've got to build out a training video for a VA. I've got to do all these things. So I would say the things that make you the most money in the long run are the things that you start with. That's my opinion. Then move on to, we probably start calls at 11 a.m.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Get a couple hours of deep work. 11 a.m. then calls start. Probably have 2 calls. Then I'll have breakfast. I have a late breakfast. I do intermittent fasting. Then probably I have a break for an hour or so. Then a few more calls. Again, my day is all based around calls. So like in between the calls, there's just like little blocks for little tasks or interviews or little bits and pieces that I have to do. But it really is just shaped around the calls. And then I'd say I work till probably like 8 p.m. And then at 8 p.m. I'm trying to clock off completely, set the plan for the next day, and just kind of forget about it. You've probably found this as well, Leighton. When you're building stuff, it's easy to just keep going. It's easy to just plow on till 10 p.m. And especially if something's going really well, you get really pumped and excited, or you've got a new idea. But I've found whenever I do that, it leads to a bit of burnout, because I'll keep cutting into my sleep. Then I'll be tired the next day. My performance will be off. And then that'll lead into I'll work extra hours to make up for that.
Wow.
And it's just kind of like this slippery slope. So I try and clock off at 8, and like that's kind of it. Then I try and put the laptop down. I might watch something, chat to the partner or something like that, and that's about it, really.
Wow. Quite a complete switch off at 8 o'clock. Like, you won't look at anything.
Not complete. It
Okay.
will be a switch off from work usually, but I'll try. Like for example, I might have WhatsApp messages that I'll have to get back to, or
Okay.
a few little bits and pieces like that. But as much as I can, I do try and switch it off. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet. I am just conscious that we are running out of time, but one thing I did want to kind of touch on is just the whole kind of personal brand and how that's built up over the last year.
Hmm.
Obviously you mentioned already that it kind of started off on TikTok and you have the YouTube channel going. Just kind of, so that's just kind of a hobby thing. I know you obviously have students as well, but that's just you want to provide value to just kind of people that were starting off and wanted to make a bit of income. What kind of helped you scale? I'd imagine it was the organic growth on TikTok, but what was the
Yeah.
thought process behind it, and how did it scale up so well?
Yeah, man, definitely TikTok. Like, I think when I saw TikTok kind of popping off, I was like, I've been thinking about a personal brand for a while, and this is the chance. I was like, right, I have to hop on this now, give it a good lash, and I saw no momentum for so long. Like, you see people where they post 3 TikToks and they've got 10K followers, and I was posting 3 videos a day for a month, and I had probably 500 followers. I was not cracking it. I was not figuring out how to pop off. Eventually, I got some that start popping off, and now I've got maybe 50, 60K, which isn't even that much in TikTok standards. Like in TikTok standards, that's people get that in a week, if they have a viral video. But yeah, it's mainly TikTok. Obviously, then I started YouTube because you can give more value. From there, then like my Instagram obviously grows a little bit with that as well. The more TikTok followers I get, the more I get on Instagram. The more subscribers I get on YouTube, the more I get on Instagram as well. And like, there was definitely a monetary motivation for it as well. It wasn't purely just I want to help people.
Okay.
Yes, that's the main driver. I think with any personal brand, you want to give value, you want to share your story and help people do what you do. But like, I'd be lying if I said that's all I wanted to do, because then I do everything for free.
Yeah.
So for me as well, it was, I'm going to build a side business. It's not going to make me as much as my agency, but it is going to bring me in some income. It's going to bring me some extra cash flow. It might pay for my lifestyle. It doesn't have to be as big, but as long as it does that, I'm pretty happy. So that's kind of what I've done with it. The main kind of way I monetize my brand is just with it's kind of like a group coaching program. So it's a course that you get access to, but you also get weekly group calls with myself. The reason I have the calls in there is because I think with most courses, you mightn't get that, and it's easy to fall off or just get confused, or to say, I've got no accountability, so I'm just going to quit this now. Whereas when you have calls, it's a bit easier, right? Because you have someone to run ideas by, and you've got other people in there as well. So you have that group kind of mentality and that group accountability going on.
Definitely, yeah. No, in fairness, anything in terms of setting up businesses or trying anything new, I mean, the key really is community, isn't it? Just having that kind of insight into how other people are succeeding, what's working well for them. I mean, like, the reason why so many people are successful in the SMMA space is because they learned from other people's mistakes, and that's just how you're going to accelerate your growth. So the best way to do that is the whole community aspect. I 100% agree. What percentage of your time is that business taken up, or like is it 20% of your business hours working week that you focus on the personal brand stuff, or is it less, or is it more?
I'd say 20% is a good estimation, man.
Cool, yeah.
Like the main stuff for it, because it's only a weekly call, I don't have one-to-one calls with everyone, so it's just one call a week. That's about 1 hour. Obviously, I'll reply to people throughout the week on WhatsApp, Instagram, and things like that.
Yeah.
Apart from that, it's mainly the content creation, right? So that's obviously something I can control. If I want to do no content for a week, I don't have to.
Yeah.
But to keep things ticking over and growing, I'll try and post 2 TikToks a day, maybe 1 to 2 YouTube videos a week.
Cool.
And a couple Instagram stories a day. I've actually really taken it a lot more serious the last, I'd say maybe 1.5 months. I'm going to say 2, but about 1.5.
Sweet.
Before then, it was very much back burner. I'll just put up stuff when I have time. I'll get a few people into my program every month, and that would be it. Whereas now I'm taking more the approach of, I'm going to treat that like a business as well. I'm going to systematize everything in that and scale that up a lot faster.
Amazing, man, amazing. So look, we're running out of time, unfortunately, but really good chat, man. And are you in Spain now, or where are you now? Or are you at home?
I'm in Ireland, man. You can probably tell from looking at.
I was thinking that doesn't look like a Spanish window.
Yeah, exactly, man.
What's the plan? Are you going back over?
I will be there soon.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's all up in the air with
COVID,
the current government stuff and all that, but hopefully I'll be back there soon.
That's cool. And the whole remote working thing, in terms of like messing up your schedule and stuff, it doesn't really affect you at all, no?
That's it, man. You know, I think you're the same. You've probably been doing everything online for quite a while now. So
Just used to it.
COVID was a bit of a blip, of course. You know, not ideal,
Yeah.
but it didn't shut us down. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. All right, dude. Well, I really appreciate the chat. We got a half an hour in there, so hopefully whoever's listening
Perfect.
got a bit of value out of it. I was definitely interested to hear that story. I didn't even realize you went to college. And yeah, once again, it's actually so interesting the way you run your agency. I love the whole systems and the processes that you put in place and the team that you built. So fair play, man, and I wish you all the success in the world.
Same to yourself, Leighton, and
Appreciate
we'll
it,
talk
man.
very soon, man.
All right, dude. I'm gonna turn off this Loom, and then you can stay on the Zoom call.
Perfect.